Did the Steelers luck up? Or did they legitimately win that football game last night? That's question number one. Question number two, Justin Fields, did he show up? Did he show out? And should that save Matt Nagy's job? Plus, there's a fight in Denver, at least almost a fight. Somebody went down, didn't get up, at least for a little while. We got a lot of stuff in the NBA to talk about. My man Keyshawn Johnson looking all dapper, I might say today. What's up, Key?
What's happening?
You ready? You all right?
I'm good.
You sure
man.
you all right?
I'm good.
You ready?
Couple bumps on the road in the weekend football games, but I'm okay.
Yeah, but you did play for the Dallas Cowboys once before, so I get to get on you too. You see the Cowboys lose too? Oh, we got a lot to talk about. Lot to talk about. First takes in the house. Let's go.
The final game of the first half of the NFL season. Here's Najee Harris. Steelers making it look easy. Little back shoulder, and it is caught. Xavier Crawford punched it out. Touchdown, Chicago. Fields throws on the run. It's Moody for the touchdown. Boswell to put the Steelers back on top, and he does. A 65-yard field goal attempt comes short, and that's how this game will come to an end.
Good morning. Welcome to First Take. Thank you for being with us. So much is happening today. We have the fall vibes. We have the collegiate look. Yes. Stephen A. Smith, Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff Saturday, one of the greatest shooters, J.J. Redick, will be joining us throughout the show, and we will be honoring our servicemen and women. Obviously, Veterans Day a couple days away. So to the true heroes, we salute you and we appreciate you. Gentlemen, we ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Okay, Mike Tomlin made history on Monday Night Football with the Steelers' 29-27 win over the Bears. Tomlin reached his 150th career win as the Steelers head coach, passing his predecessor Bill Cowher, who won 149 games during his 15-year tenure. Tomlin is the fourth fastest coach to reach this milestone. But it wasn't all smiles last night, though. Bears linebacker Cassius Marsh accused official Tony Corrente of hip-checking him moments before Corrente flagged Marsh for taunting in the fourth quarter of Chicago's two-point controversial loss. Here's Cassius Marsh, who signed with Chicago just 5 days ago.
Bad timing. I think it's pretty clear to everybody who saw it that I wasn't taunting. It's just sad to see stuff like that happen in a close game like that. It's just rough, man. I don't want to say too much because y'all know how it is. But the one thing that I will say is on my way to the sideline, I got hip checked by the ref, and it's pretty clear. If I were to do that to a ref or even touch the ref, we get kicked out of the game and possibly suspended and fined. So I just think that was incredibly inappropriate. And that's all I'll say about that.
Stephen A. might be getting double teamed today by two champions.
I don't care.
To bring in another one.
I don't care.
Hi, Jeff Saturday.
Hey,
Good morning. Great stuff on Get Up. That pancake segment. Must see television. I love it. It is. It's the best.
It is.
Great energy.
I appreciate it.
But I'm going to start with you, Stephen A.
Yeah.
Did the refs make the right call?
I don't believe so. And maybe it's because I believe, listen, I'm not challenging the letter of the law, meaning that it's in the rule book. You have to call it. That's not where I'm going here. I'm saying, should it be there? I'm saying that I find that it to be incredibly egregious. Listen, I'm watching the game last night. I'm a Steelers fan, man. Mm-hmm. I'm a Steelers fan. I wanted them to win the game, fellas. But guess what? I want you to win the game fair and square. I'm sitting there and I'm watching Chicago's defense, and this kid that was just on the practice squad, he get on the field, he sacks Big Ben Roethlisberger, he makes a stop. Chicago's about to get the ball back. And because he sits up there and stares at the sideline, you trying to tell me he needs to get a taunting penalty and the Pittsburgh Steelers get the ball back? Now, obviously, it didn't end up that way because they still stopped Pittsburgh and Chicago still had a last chance and they didn't register. But what if that were not the case? What if Chicago had never gotten the ball back? I'm saying a call like that at that particular moment, to me, it's people other than the players deciding the outcome. And that was my problem with that call. I hated it. I'm like, wait a minute. And I said, listen, I want the Steelers to win just like any Steelers fan, but not like that. You don't make that call at that particular moment. I think context matters. It's a big play. The guy's on the practice squad last week. He's in the game for the first time. You know, he makes a big play that ultimately could lead to them ultimately winning the game. And you call a taunting penalty that gives the Steelers the ball back just because he stared at the damn sidelines. It gets to a point where I look at you guys as former players and I look at present day players and I'm like, how could y'all not speak out against this? How could you not speak out against an official making that kind of call, that kind of decision in that kind of moment to help dictate potentially an outcome? I don't understand how I can have more of a problem with that than actual dudes who played the game.
Well, look, man, first of all, it's a rule, okay? And they emphasizing the rule starting this year. They really are putting an emphasis on the rule. Turning to the sideline, staring them down, I don't think that deserves a flag. But when you start walking toward it, 5-6 yards toward the sideline, now you kind of bending the rules a little bit. Then on top of that, the referee decides that he was going to reach for the flag as you start to walk back toward the referee. And then the little bumping, little chicken wing comes from the ref. He sticks his butt out.
Yep.
And at that point, I don't know if Cash Marsh said something to him or whatever the case may have been. He decided to throw the flag. But when you put yourself in that position, Stephen A., you're going to get that call.
Yeah.
You know that they're putting an emphasis on calling this sort of thing in the NFL today.
Yeah, and let me say this. The taunting rule is, as a whole, people hate it. I don't like it. No one likes it, right? We get it. What he did deserve a penalty. And I will tell you, he celebrated 3 times, bro. Like he had a sack that's coming off of Roethlisberger, steps up, he makes it. He does a roundhouse, flips out, does whatever. Then his boys come over, he celebrates with 2 or 3 of them. Another one comes over, he celebrates with him. Then he turns and walks to the sideline of the Steelers, sauntering over as all his boys are running to the sideline. Now look, there's a time and place to celebrate. That was no longer in the moment. Like when you make a play, you get up, you celebrate it. Had he turned immediately to the sideline, I can take it. But you can't celebrate for 40 seconds on a sack that's basically a trash sack, bro. Like it can't happen, dude. Like then everybody's gonna be looking at the sideline. Everybody, and look. It's one thing if the whole team did it, like if all the team, if his boys give him the camera shot or whatever, or they're rolling a boat together.
They probably would have got teamed up for that too.
But you can't walk to the sideline.
First of all,
15 seconds after everybody else celebrates.
First of all, you would say that, Mr. Offensive Lineman. You would say that.
Well,
okay?
I'm just being real.
I understand. You would say that. That's number one. Number two, let's make sure we understand the importance of something here. You're talking about he celebrated. Let's take into context. The dude was on the practice squad. On the practice squad.
Okay,
but the ref,
Stephen
A.,
he don't know
ain't paying attention. Yeah, the referee
I'm talking about his behavior. I'm talking about his behavior. Because when he got to the sideline, the coach jumped all in him. But the players went over them like they understood what the hell was going on. Okay? And I'm saying to you is this, as players, to sit up there and condone an official. Listen, this is the game. It's Monday Night Football. Game's on the line. It's the last 2 damn minutes. And this official is going to decide. Here's Steelers take the ball back because we don't like the fact that he celebrates too much. Prevent him from celebrating.
Didn't decide the game. His behavior. Dude, you can't listen. Nobody can walk him over, and you've watched every game be played.
You're such a rule follower.
But listen, when you walk over, again, it's just too much. It was the 3rd celebration the guy had. And let me just say this because I need to make sure this is said. Tony Corrente, the official who bumped him, should be suspended. Like, that's absolute trash. Then he hip bumps him and does that. But the behavior of Cassius Marsh walking over to the sideline did deserve
I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm just saying it wasn't egregious enough for you as an official to integrate yourself in the potential outcome. Come on, y'all. You got to take that into context. And I think the rule is...
Don't you understand?
I opened my...
emphasizing the
rule. We started off the discussion by acknowledging, listen, it's the rule. We understand that. I said I hate the rule because, again, letter of the law. It's the last 2 minutes of the game.
All right. Tell us how you really feel. We know you hate the rule. Hey, Stephen A., are you more confident in your Steelers now?
No.
Okay.
What?
Do you want to expound or you just want to leave it at that?
Because to me, I've always believed to some degree in their defense. I know that their defense is either going to be good or it's going to be great. It's not going to be trash. The question in play is their offense. What is their offense going to do?
Yeah.
Najee Harris running for 62 yards. I believe in this brother. It ain't about him. It's about that offensive line, which is still trying to get themselves together, although they've improved over the last few weeks. Ben Roethlisberger, stationary target.
Yeah.
You got to take that into consideration. You can't ignore that. When things got heated, they were able to neutralize the Steelers' offense, and the defense had to come to the rescue and ultimately prevent Chicago from winning the game. And they almost couldn't do that because Justin Fields played pretty well, and he led them to a touchdown late in the game. And so when we look at it from that perspective, I'm going to look at the Steelers, I'm going to look at the rest of the AFC, and I'm going to say, if you struggle to put up points as an offense, you're not going to get very far. And that's what I look at when I see the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do not believe in their offense. I think that their offense is below average. I think their offense is not up to snuff. And that is why I have my trepidation and reservations about them.
But this Pittsburgh Steelers organization and team has always played this way.
That's right.
They ain't never had no high-octane, explosive offense.
I disagree.
No, they never. They've been
Bruce,
they had it with Todd Haley for a little bit in AB. But the way they play is they run the football. They just look ugly, and they play defense.
I'm just saying, but they put up points, bro.
Yeah.
They put up points.
They
They make things happen.
That was points they put up last night.
I will say this. The problem for the Steelers, the schedule is going to be real rough on them. But from an offensive perspective, they are finding their way. And that's the way. I mean, if they don't fumble the ball on the punt, I mean, it's a completely different game. They're governing it down so that they can stay in the game and the defense can win it. That's just complimentary football, and that's really the way Tomlin wants
we got to move on.
They find their way. When they find their way,
30 points.
When they find their way away.
Gentlemen, party's over. Congrats to Mike Tomlin. Let's move on. Other things to discuss. Love the passion, but let's keep it rolling. Odell Beckham Jr. could be claimed on waivers today. If no team claims him, he would be a free agent and sign where he wants at 4 p.m. The market for OBJ, a mystery. But we've heard previously on the show from Kimberly Martin that some NFL execs don't believe he's still a number one receiver. Keyshawn, should Odell be a star or a role player on his next team?
I think it all depends on, first, which team he goes to.
Okay.
So if you look at OBJ and having played the position, there are certain guys in the league and that have played in the league that are number one alpha dog wide receivers. And that's OBJ. OBJ is not a system receiver. And what I mean by a system receiver is somebody like what they have basically in Cleveland is a system. They can put almost any receiver in there, and Kevin Stefanski is not going to deviate from that. Alpha dog receivers are Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Keyshawn Johnson, third person, OBJ.
Like that.
You have to, Marvin Harrison, you have to get them the football. Well, there's a call sheet. And that call sheet says first 15 plays. Those, Michael Irvin, those first 15, about 8 to 9 of those balls should be directed at that individual player. That is the type of team OBJ has to go to. If he goes to a team that he's got to fit into that system, then he's going to be a role player. And that won't work. You've got to find a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Rams, the New Orleans Saints, the Green Bay Packers, where they know he's only good to us if we put the football in his hands. Because he doesn't help us any other way.
Those are also teams with tremendous quarterbacks.
And they got good quarterbacks.
Yes.
And I was getting ready to say, will you stop it?
Stop what?
Let me tell you what you should stop.
What?
It's about the quarterback. What the hell not about no team? It's about who the hell throwing him the football. Okay, it's Patrick Mahomes. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Matthew Stafford. It's the Tom Brady. It's somebody like that. You gotta be.
I'll throw Russell Wilson in there.
Russell Wilson, you can throw him in there.
I'm just talking about a big time quarterback that don't mind flinging that football to you. That's what that's the system that whatever system that is. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. And I'm saying to you, in Cleveland, the brother didn't believe in Baker Mayfield.
No, he didn't.
And Baker Mayfield knew it. And Baker Mayfield, as a result, didn't believe in him either. And the relationship obviously was fragmented. They could talk about all this off-the-field stuff, and your families are going on vacation. These people just kill me. See, this is why I'm looking at the Grinch or Scrooge or something, because I don't get caught up in all of that. No. That don't mean that, you go out there, we went on vacation together. Really?
I appreciate that effort for reconciliation. Going on vacation?
What I'm saying is the reconciliation in terms of your willingness to communicate, et cetera, et cetera. But in the end, it's about what you do. In practice, are you throwing me the football? Right. Am I catching the football? And does that translate to the game? That's all this comes down to. Odell Beckham Jr. needs to be a place where they're going to throw
Okay,
him
but
the
you
damn
didn't
football.
answer the question,
That's
though.
what I just said.
You didn't answer the question. So he's a star player.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Jeff?
yes.
Absolutely.
OBJ is a role player, fellas.
No, he's
No,
not.
Y'all living,
No, he's not, Jeff.
y'all living, y'all living in
no,
New York.
Jeff.
Yes,
Back to Molly's favorite team. Y'all remember them days? Listen,
Big Blue.
he is a really good football player. If any contender you go to, he has to be a role player. Listen,
Well, now, yes, if he goes to a contender,
but that's
he
what
gonna fit 'cause
we're
they've
talking
already-
about now. When he walks in that team, he ain't the alpha dog, bro. He's going to walk in and be one of. If he goes to Green Bay, he's not better than Adams.
Well, he's gonna be
he
one
goes to Seattle, he's not going to be the
But
dog.
you know how to utilize him, though.
I understand the use of him, but he has to understand when I was in Indianapolis and we set the first 15, guaranteed Reggie Wayne was going to get calls too.
Yes.
Same as Marvin Harrison, right? So was Dallas Clark, Brandon Stokely. So they all wanted the pill. They all wanted the rock, which is all great, but they were all willing to be role players when it was for the betterment of the team. He has to learn that he is just one of the guys, not the guy.
That's not fair.
But now that's true, Jeff. Now, today, as he's got 9 games to go, 8 or 9, depending on the team that he goes to, he has to fall into that role.
Right.
But that doesn't mean he cannot be a star.
I
if he
agree with
go to
that.
the New England Patriots, for instance, immediately
that's the best place
Bill
for him, by the
Belichick
way.
and company will know what to do with him.
That's the best place for him because he doesn't have any competition in the receiver room. Now he will be that, and now Josh McDaniels can structure an offense that will feed him. Right now he can get what.
Well, let me tell you why I disagree with you.
I feel that
Let me tell you why I disagree with you.
here.
Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
is a superstar quarterback.
Sure.
Tyreek Hill is going to be your number one guy. Okay?
Or Kelsey.
Or Kelsey. If Odell Beckham Jr. is there, it's not about getting more receptions than Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelsey. He wants his fair share.
Sure.
No question about it. But as long as you got a guy that's throwing, it's not about him getting more than the other person. It's about you throwing the football enough where he could get his action, where he could
but
get the
that's
pill.
a role play.
So in Indy, let's remember you were there. You know this. You brought up Harrison. You brought up Reggie Wayne.
Yes.
We all knew Peyton Manning was throwing that damn football now.
Yes.
I don't care who you got, Edgar and James or whoever you had.
Right.
You're going to throw that football with Peyton Manning as your quarterback.
For sure.
The point is, in Cleveland with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you may not elect to do that a little bit if you're Kevin Stefanski.
That's true.
That's problematic.
Yeah.
If you go to a place where you can throw the football, meaning the quarterback can throw the damn football, and you are going to throw the football, Odell Beckham Jr. ain't got no problem with you.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that, but that's a role player, Stephen A.
That's not a role player.
No, it's not the number one alpha dog like he was with the New York
Giants. He started with
Giants.
being the alpha dog, being the number one. Listen,
Like
you're
the
not
guy.
walking in to be, and listen, I think OBJ,
he's not gonna
he was
walk in.
misused in Cleveland. I
Misused.
fully agree.
That's true.
Stefanski did not do a good job of finding ways to get him open.
That's true.
Motion, alignment. I mean, dude, I could go through tons of football and show you how you can get a receiver fed. They did a terrible job of feeding OBJ. I agree with that. But everything you're describing is a role player on a football team. The only place he would go to be the guy where you're getting 15 targets a week would be New England. And that's because Josh McDaniels would try to feed him and find him a way.
The question is, can he be a star? And I'm saying
You still can be a star and be a role player.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can still be a star getting about 10 to 12 targets a game.
Now you're going to
you can
semantics.
do that.
Now y'all trying to twist it. It's still a role play. He is not.
That is not a role
He is
player.
not. Listen, what I'm telling you is you're not building an offense in New
you're not building an offense around
in
him
New
right
York,
now.
the passing game was built around OBJ. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement.
Okay, he will not be that
Okay,
guy.
that's fine.
Okay, but I still think he's very productive and a great receiver to have on your squad. I'm just saying it's not going to be like it was in New York with Eli Manning.
But see, Jeff, because he's coming into a team midway. So there's no way outside of New England, somebody's going to structure the passing game to go through him. If he went to the Rams, the passing game is going through Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
But Sean McVay is smart enough and intelligent enough to know that dude is going to help me win when Cooper Kupp is not available to do those things. He can do more than the vertical.
I know.
Yeah.
He can catch slants and go to the distance.
Absolutely.
There's no question
Yards
about
after
it.
catch,
The
for
reason
sure.
I like him in Kansas City is because they're looking for that third option. Well, ever since Sammy Watkins left and went to Baltimore, the offense has not been as strong in the passing game. Miko Hartman is okay. But you still need Tyreek Hill. You need Kelsey.
And he'll have an
You need
opportunity to kind of resurrect their season also if he comes in and balls out. All right, well, let's fantasize here for a second. What's your number one team you'd want to see him play for?
Me personally, I'd like to see him with the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
I think that when you see Matthew Stafford fling that football and you see the chemistry he's built with Cooper Kupp and you see some of the additional weapons with Woods and others that they have on that squad, to have a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. on that squad, I think would really elevate their passing game.
Do I get to pick 2?
No, 1. First take.
I hate to have
Not
to.
2 takes, second
I hate to have
take,
to agree
third.
with Stephen A.
You have to.
The Rams.
Okay.
The Rams, because 1, he don't have to deal with the cold. They indoors most of the time.
Okay.
And they're on the West Coast in good weather.
That's right.
2, he has a home in Los Angeles. He trains out there. He loves being
word.
there.
That's right.
Comfort level. And if you think about what Tommy Brady has been able to do with the plethora of weapons that he has at his disposal in Tampa Bay, you drop him with the Rams, it's going to be lights out for a lot of teams in the NFC.
Good coach, good quarterback.
New England Patriots. Listen, everybody's like, well, it's a rookie quarterback. The dude's thrown 2 studs at Alabama. He knows how to get the ball. And Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels will build their offensive passing game around.
They're not building. They're not feeding any
And the reason, here's why. But I'm gonna be now.
know that.
But here's why.
They fed Randy Moss. They will feed.
It was a record-breaking
Randy
season.
Moss is a different beast, bro.
Okay, but listen.
I mean, my God.
I'm not saying he's not,
Randy
but where
Moss.
he was in his career at the time is very similar to where OBJ is. When he was in Oakland, he was the same production. But when OBJ walks in that building, bro, he's got credibility. And when Bill Belichick says our offense is going to run through that guy in the passing game,
I don't want him going there,
his
though.
numbers go up.
I don't want him going there for other reasons, though.
They win a Super Bowl?
No, because I don't want him. I don't want him changing who he is. See, when you go to New England, he gonna have to change who he is, his personality. And if you take an OBJ, you got to take that personality too. You can't all of a sudden bottle him in, and he's got to conform.
You don't think
to the
Bill
way.
will know how to deal with him?
It's not Bill. It's all the other outside noise.
Yes,
that goes.
Massachusetts.
I was going to get there, Stephen, if you allow me to get there.
All right.
It's all, Molly, it's all the other noise in the Foxborough, Boston area on the style in which OBJ is. Some people would consider him a malcontent. Some people would say he got ran off by 2 teams. All of that sort of stuff. I don't want to see him have to deal with that.
They believe that about him. They ain't paying attention. I mean,
but come on, man.
Unless you're talking about.
They said the same damn thing.
I thought the mantras ignore the noise down there, but what do I know?
Yeah,
don't get me started.
They can get it going now. I'm telling you, with
Southern
Rams, man.
Southern California, LA, the sunshine.
Yeah, go on and do that.
You want to go with them? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I felt like. Everybody's buying houses, moving back.
Everyone's ready to go.
Soon, I must say, very soon.
We'll be out here in the cold, Jeff.
We'll be freezing out.
Very special
We got this.
place. Right, it's time for Steven's A-List. Here's the deal. The list is fluid.
I know it's fluid. I know all of that.
I'm glad it's fluid.
I think he's confused.
The list is fluid. It's fluid. It's fluid.
Only recency bias, Batman.
Because you done lost your mind.
If it's so fluid, how are we not considering the Bills?
You can come back because the list is fluid.
You know how he gets away with all of it? It's fluid, man. It's fluid.
You're biased, Jeff Saturday. You're biased.
You can do what you need to do. It's your list.
This list is bananas.
It's fluid. It's fluid. Yeah. My top 5. Here we go. Let's make this quick so I can hear from Keyshawn and Jeff Saturday. Let's go to number 5 on the list, please. Give it to me. Bam! The Arizona Cardinals. They are number 5 on the list. Let's go to number 4 on the list, please. Give it to me right here. The Packers. Give it right here. Put it up here now. What the hell is the delay? The Packers, even though they lost, the bottom line is Jordan Love, it was his first start. They did hold the Chiefs to 13 points. I got to give credit to defense is elevating. That when they wouldn't have lost that game if Aaron Rodgers was there. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. Give it to me. Bam! The Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because they got Lamar Jackson. That's why I don't like the fact that they're constantly putting themselves in a position where they almost lose, but they win, but they're still a top 3 team in the NFL this week. I got to give them love. Number 2 on the list, please. Give it to me right now, please. The Tennessee Titans. See what they did. Without Derrick Henry, they went to LA and manhandled the Los Angeles Rams. Gotta give them love for that. And last but not least, we know who's number 1, right? The reigning, the defending Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Didn't need to. The Tom Brady and the Buccaneers right now are number 1. The list is fluid, okay? This is my top 5 list. The floor is yours.
Oh, hold on. Let me just start right here. Let me just say this right now. The last time we saw the Bucs play with the fluid list, they lost to the New Orleans Saints. Is that correct?
think so.
The last time we saw the Packers play with Aaron Rodgers, who will be playing again really quickly, they beat the undefeated Cardinals. That you have them at 4.
They still lost. They still lost.
They Jordan Love.
Yeah, they lost. What do you mean? They lost
before the bye.
I mean, they're taking a vacation and we're moving them to one.
That's right. We're moving them to one. We're moving them to one right now. I like what I'm seeing from this. The Ravens is.
Wait, hold on. Explain this to me.
Okay.
They're 5.
Yeah.
Despite not having their 2 main weapons healthy and in, plus the quarterback Mighty Mouse did not play.
That's right.
And they went to San Francisco and unleashed it on them.
That's right.
With Colt McCoy.
That's right.
In their 5.
Yes, I got them 5 because I couldn't put them ahead of the Packers because I held against how they lost to the Packers with Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago.
Hey, who's in charge of production? We got to reset.
Seriously.
We got to restart the segment. Stephen A. got confused. He got confused in the weeks. Something did it. Like, this is the worst list ever.
The baddest dude in the National Football League is their quarterback, hands down, regardless of position. And you got them at 3.
I got them at 3.
Okay, here's the bottom line.
But they not going to sustain this, buddy.
No, it's a fluid list.
That's your way out.
Right now.
That's your way out.
Titans got to be number 1. They got to be number 1 because they beat everybody. They just beat the Rams, went to the Rams, and embarrassed them without Derrick Henry. They got to be up, right? We can pull the Ravens up behind them, so you got 2 and 3. Packers got to be there. Bucs got to go down below the Cardinals. But
come on, Stephen A.
This is, honest to God, the worst list you've ever put out. I mean,
I knew it.
The only thing that you could have done to make this a fun list was put the Cowboys at 1 to try to sabotage them again.
But just turn it upside down.
Yeah,
you know, it kind of threw me off when y'all reacted the way that y'all did. Y'all just ruined the whole momentum of my list. Okay, but I'm trying to tell you right now. Right now, when you're looking at the NFL, these are the top 5 teams that you're looking at right now.
Well, is that how we're going to do it now?
That's how we
just throw it up there.
Stephen A., you know what? You're very lucky we don't have much time. All I got to say is the Bucs at number 1, and they were on a bye.
And they lost the week before the bye.
Absolutely blasphemous, okay? Blasphemous. I will leave you with that. Up ahead on First Take, will the real F still ahead on First Take? JJ Redick wants another piece of Stephen A., so we'll oblige. Don't miss what he's got to say about LeBron. I promise you will want to hear it. Plus, the fit between Odell and Russ. Does Mina Kimes think that pairing makes sense? And should Mac Jones be suspended for the Pats game versus the Browns this week? Stephen A. states an interesting case. Stay tuned. Lamar Jackson is off to a great start this season. He's the first player in NFL history with 2,000 passing yards, 600 rushing yards through 8 games of a season. He also has the Ravens in first place in the AFC North. Tom Brady on pace for 5,631 passing yards through Tampa Bay's first 8 games. That would be enough to break Peyton Manning's single season record of 5,477 yards that he set back in 2013. Tom Brady became the MVP favorite over the weekend despite having a bye week. Lamar Jackson had 20-1 odds as of Saturday night. He now sits at 9-1. All this according to Caesars. Let's do this, gentlemen. Who is the real MVP? You're up first.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Listen, it's about Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. I'm a roll with Tom Brady for the moment. I'm a roll with Tom Brady.
That's not a bad choice.
I just think that the way Tom Brady is flinging the football, the fact that he's 44 years of age and doing what he is doing. Antonio Brown's been out a couple of weeks. Gronk has been out a couple of weeks. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is, for the most part, their offense continues to flow. You continue to see them getting better and better. And the question about them isn't even their offense, it's their defense, because of a 44-year-old man leading the way. I think when you look at it from that perspective, right now, I'm just about Tom Brady. I think that with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, as great as he has been, there's been too many times struggles at pivotal moments, even though they've ended up pulling things out.
I mean, their record don't indicate he's been struggling. Neither does his statistics when you talk about Lamar. Tom Brady, no problem at all. I have no problem with that. But when you think about Lamar Jackson, they talk about Tom Brady's going to throw for over 5,000 yards. Mm-hmm. Imagine somebody as a dual threat combining for 5,800 yards of total offense. By the time the season ends, he will have combined for 5,800 yards of total offense, which means he's carrying this team by himself at a high clip of 80+% of that offense. You cannot say that he's not the MVP. The thing that I would say, is if Tom Brady is replaced for whatever reason by Aaron Rodgers in Tampa, Matthew Stafford in Tampa. You see where I'm going? Any of these so-called top 6, 7 quarterbacks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could still be in the same winning percentage in the position that they're in right now. You do that in Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens will be getting ready for Christmas without Lamar Jackson in the lineup.
Listen, I appreciate what you're saying. I disagree I disagree that if you replace Tom Brady with a number of different players, they would still be the same football
So let me ask you this. So if I put Aaron Rodgers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
if you put Aaron Rodgers with the Baltimore Ravens,
they're not going to be nowhere
they would still
near.
be legit. Aaron Rodgers is, listen, it would not look the same as what Lamar Jackson is doing. He's still going to win, bro.
Look what he did when he was down 3 receivers.
Absolutely.
We just
did
saw
you
that.
discredit what these? He's not going to go run like Lamar Jackson runs. But if you're telling me you don't think that Aaron Rodgers can get in this system and make plays, like the disrespect from Tom Brady, it confuses me, right? Like, this guy has played well and above anybody else at that quarterback position in the NFL this season. 25 touchdowns, like 5 interceptions, and 2 of them were in 1 week. When you look at what Tom Brady does, he makes their offensive line better. He puts them in the right. So you're giving credit to Lamar Jackson for the runs, which I fully use. Tom Brady puts that offense in the run plays. He just has to hand it to someone else to go do it. But they're both doing the same thing, so you can't credit one guy.
No, I'm not.
But Lamar does put the team on his back. I know they're getting into those overtime positions, but he's winning those games.
So does Tom Brady.
But an MVP
Tom Brady,
is what Lamar is doing, Jeff.
No, listen, Tom Brady is complete. Listen, he went and won a championship for a reason. He makes their offensive line better by the way that he gets the ball out on time, pre-snap read, post-snap read, all of those things. So a line that somebody else might not look nearly as good, he makes them better. No different than what Lamar Jackson does. He makes their offensive line look better because his style of play. Let me give you a great example. Orlando Brown, who's now with the Chiefs, right? He looked like an all-star at left tackle because of what Lamar can do behind the line of scrimmage and buy time. In Kansas City, it hasn't looked quite as good because the way that the quarterback pays dividends for the offensive line. No different than what Tom Brady is doing. What I'm telling you is, you can't just say if we took Lamar out that Aaron Rodgers.
What's the definition of MVP? The definition of MVP is most valuable player on your team.
And you're saying not of your team, in the league. In the league would be Tom Brady.
I don't think that Brady's the most valuable player when it comes to Lamar.
Let's do this thought experiment. What if we swap them?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
What if we swap them? Do the Ravens have more wins? Would the Bucs have as many wins?
I would love to see Lamar with Mike Evans, Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Leonard Fournette and company, along with Antonio Brown. I would love to see Chris Godwin play with him. I would love to see it.
I appreciate that you see it that way, but there's a reason. There's a reason that Baltimore runs this style of offense with Lamar, and they've completely transformed what this offense looks like because of Lamar.
His body of work and his
That's
style.
my point. If Tom Brady went to the Ravens, you don't think that Tom Brady and John Harbaugh are going to put wins on the board?
I think they put wins on the board. I think they put wins on the board, but I think that we can't ignore the fact that what we're seeing from Tom Brady.
You can't?
At age 44.
I get that.
Matters. Now, if this dude is a young spring chicken and he's just stepping back in the pocket and he's throwing the football effectively, doing some of the similar things, you compare that to Lamar Jackson, I get where you're coming from. I just think that I can't ignore the fact. I know we're supposed to just look at the numbers, just look at the wins, just look at that. But I can't ignore the fact that at 44 years of age, he's doing what he's doing.
I can't ignore the fact that this dude is putting his team on his back.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
He's carrying that Raven in a stadium on his back.
He's had 3 games, bro, where his passer rating is like below 90. I get the
W column.
Okay, I'm with you. 5. What are they? 5 and 2, 6 and 2.
I think it's 6 and 2,
right? So they're even, right? They're both together. I respect the heck out of Lamar Jackson. This is not a slight on Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying when you look at what Tom Brady has done in Tampa and continues to do week in and week out, the dude produces, man. And it don't matter who his players. Everybody always talks about around him. Lamar Jackson wouldn't make Tampa better.
My argument is that I feel like I can drop Matthew Stafford in Tampa. I won't even use Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to just use Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
With all of the stuff around him and that defense, Byron Leftwich, BA, along with Todd Bowles and the special team coach, that they're not going to be 6-2.
Yeah, I think you could. That's what I'm saying. I think
you can't drop Tom Brady in Baltimore.
Nah, I don't think.
You don't think John Harbaugh is a good enough coach to get the best out of his team with Tom Brady?
Tom Brady just left New England with the same type of offensive
We're almost comparing apples to oranges because they're such different types of quarterbacks.
In New England with the same type of personnel in Baltimore when he left New England because he didn't have enough to win.
Do you guys want us to leave so you can continue this? Because I got to go to break.
The problem is they're both great players. So I love them both. That's the hardest part.
Listen, me and Stephen A. will leave. You guys finish this. Coming up, just how good could Odell Beckham Jr. could be claimed on waivers today. If no team claims him, he would be a free agent and sign where he wants at 4 p.m. The market for OBJ is a mystery, but there's at least one team who is teasing interest. Cue Pete Carroll.
He's a really good football player. He's as talented as you could be in years past, and so you're always looking for guys that can do special stuff. I mean, I've shared with you guys that we're looking for uniqueness and people that are different than other people and give you different dimensions to their play. So that's what we're trying to figure out, investigate, and see if if there's a chance and all that kind of stuff, if it makes sense. And in essence, I'm in a stall telling you what's going on, or just because.
Well. Mina knows it's turtleneck weather. Oh, Mina, our resident Seahawks fan and NFL analyst extraordinaire. Let me ask you, Mina, how would OBJ fit with your Seattle Seahawks?
It would be fantastic. They should absolutely do this. First of all, it's a low-risk move. Assuming he clears waivers, which I think is likely to happen, it's not a lot of money, and the Seahawks have cap space. Now, people are probably saying, well, the problem with Seattle is the defense, not the offense. They've got good wide receivers. Sure, but they're not fixing the defense mid-season, so you might as well spend a little bit of money to score more points. Now, football-wise, I understand that Odell has not been producing like a number one wide receiver over the last 2 years. That's not who he is right now. But with Seattle, he doesn't have to play that role. In fact, if he signs there, he would tell us that he understands his fit. DK Metcalf is number one. Tyler Lockett would probably move inside. Odell at the Z, that is a nightmare for opposing defenses. Finally, guys, and this to me is perhaps the most important thing, as I have said on this show, Seattle's priority is keeping Russell Wilson happy so you don't get into the drama that you had last season. And to me, this goes a long way towards addressing that.
I have no problem with this whatsoever. I like the idea of Odell in Seattle. It wouldn't be my first choice. I've been on the record saying it would be L.A. But the bottom line is this. So when we talk about their defense, and I know it's horrid, 25th against the pass, against the rush, like 28th against the pass, 8th overall in points allowed. But and I want to go to that last point to point this out because I'm looking this up. 21, 26, 23, 13, and 7. That's how many points they've given up in the last 5 games. I mean, this defense hasn't been atrocious in terms of points allowed. And so if you can put up some buckets, you can make some things happen. You got Lockett, you got DK Metcalf, you add Odell Beckham Jr. to the mix with a guy like Russell Wilson capable of extending plays. I think that they could make some things happen. I don't think that you can summarily dismiss that, that being a very, very potent thing for them to pull off if they were able to get Odell Beckham Jr. Because I think Odell Beckham Jr. is far from finished. I just think that he was not enthused about playing football in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. And some dudes, when they're not enthused about their job, it shows. It shows. And that's his problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of you are right. OBJ would be a great fit in Seattle. But the problem is their defense. But when you look at defense, you look at points allowed. And they've done a tremendous job, not a tremendous job, a better job of not surrendering the points to the offensive opponents, for sure, no question about it. But it's a good fit. It's not a great fit for my money. Better fits to me would be Kansas City or the Los Angeles Rams. Those are the two best fits for OBJ. I just think that, one, you've got to know, Mina, what to do with a special talent. And I don't necessarily know if Seattle knows what to do with him. Yes, you say, well, he can play the Z receiver. If you leave him at Z and don't move him around, are you getting your money's worth? Is that the best usage of him? You have Tyler Lockett to do similar things as OBJ. You still got a home run hitter in DK Metcalf. And let's face it, Pete Carroll, second half of the season, what is it that he wants to do, Mina? You know this program. He wants to run the football. He doesn't want to air it out like he did at the beginning of the year last year. He wants to try to force the run as we get into the cold weather. He wants to make sure that he has something that's portable that can travel to any city at any given moment. That's the only reason why I don't see Seattle as just a bona fide fit as much as I do LA or Kansas City.
That's part of the reason why I love this fit in Seattle, what you said. First of all, one would hope that if Pete Carroll greenlit this, it means he's not going to place an heavy emphasis on running the ball. But if so, they're going to get light boxes with these three wide receivers on the field. So again, from a team perspective, to me, it's a no-brainer. But y'all are talking about this kind of from an Odell perspective. What is best for his career? I cannot dispute that Kansas City would make sense, although obviously he's not the number one wide receiver either. But I think Seattle, it's a good fit for the reasons why Cleveland wasn't a fit. Stephen A., you talked about Odell being dissatisfied. But to me, a big problem with his fit there was Cleveland has a highly schemed up, structured offense, right? Like they do what they do. Seattle, you get a lot of backyard football. Key, you talk about not knowing what to do with special players. This team has gotten more out of wide receivers over the last few years than just about any teams in the league because Russell Wilson extends plays. He will make those downfield throws when Odell scrambles and finds a way to get open on his secondary route. I love the fit for that reason.
Well, I personally believe that Keyshawn is right when he says L.A. and Kansas City are better fits than Seattle. But the question was whether or not Odell would be what kind of fit would he be in Seattle? I definitely think he would be a good fit in Seattle. But I do believe L.A. and Kansas City would be better. I think L.A., because of Sean McVay's play calling, because of Matthew Stafford willing to fling that football, because of them relying on a running game, on a passing game more so than a running game. And in Kansas City, obviously, the same applies there with Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes throwing the football, not relying solely on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, because the league appears to have figured that out somewhat. Yeah. They're going to still get theirs, but the juggernaut that they were doesn't appear to be the case right now. I think they need an infusion of some new blood in there to join Hill and Travis Kelce.
Hold up. Mina, I want to ask you this. So Russell Wilson cleared to return to practice. If all goes well, will be suiting up Sunday versus the Packers against immunized Aaron Rodgers. Can Wilson turn the Seahawks season around? They're 3-5 right now, third in the NFC West.
Look, I want to be clear. I'm not a delusional Seahawks fan. I do not think this is one of the best teams in the AFC. They are behind the Rams and Cardinals. That said, when you look at the conference picture, Molly, there's really 5 teams that are kind of a cut above. Tampa, Dallas, Arizona, Los Angeles, and Green Bay. After that, you got 2 spots. Right now, it's New Orleans and Atlanta, if you look at the standings. Do I think Seattle can leapfrog those teams with a healthy Russell Wilson? Absolutely. I don't think they're a Super Bowl like, one of the elite teams in the NFL, but they can compete all the way through the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah, they are a 6 and 7 type seed. That's what they're going for. They're going for the bottom of the barrel, but you just never know. Once you get into the tournament, you never know what thing, you get the right team that you play against. You get them at home, you do something to them. Now you go on the road, you get the right opponent again, and you wind up being in LA.
Yeah, OBJ.
Remember years ago. Remember years ago with Beast Mode, Seattle wasn't even a 500 team.
7-9,
beating New Orleans in the postseason.
So you just never know.
You just never know.
All right, Mina, good stuff as always. I will be watching you on NFL Live and all the other programs you contribute to. We will talk soon.
All right.
Bye, guys.
It fell under the radar, but Stephen A. noticed quite a dirty. Vegas Raiders are again dealing with the poor conduct of someone in their organization. This time, cutting their 19th overall pick in the 2020 draft, Damon Arnett, after video surfaced over the weekend of him making death threats while brandishing firearms. The Raiders have now cut both of their 2020 first-round picks after releasing Henry Ruggs III last week. Here's General Manager Mike Mayock on Arnett.
There have been a series of bad decisions over the last year or so, but we cannot stand for the video of Damon with a gun threatening to take a life. The content was unacceptable, contrary to our values, and our owner, Mark Davis, has been very clear and very consistent that this is not how we will conduct ourselves in this community. The bottom line, the Raiders will not tolerate this type of behavior.
Take a look at the timeline for the Raiders. So Arnett now gone. Henry Ruggs released last week after his deadly car crash that took the life of a 23-year-old woman, John Gruden, resigned from the Raiders after a series of racist, homophobic, and misogynistic emails were released. And again, both first-rounders from 2020 are now gone. So a series of bad looks for the Raiders. Keyshawn, how should the team respond?
Well, the team should respond by going out there and continue to keep playing and trying to get W's. The bigger question is, how should the front office respond at the end of the season?
Okay.
That's the bigger question. When you look at Mike Mayock talking about the way that Damon Arnett situation came to arise, you also got to look at Henry Ruggs. You also got to look at the 2020 draft as a whole for them. Mm-hmm. There's 2 players in the first round off the 2020 draft that are no longer there. Then there's 2 players that went in the 3rd round that didn't even play. Then there's a 4th rounder that got cut. So they completely have botched that year's draft. Then you look at other drafts with players that they've reached for, whether it was Colin Farrell out of Clemson, whether it was Leatherwood out of Alabama, who was a 3rd round pick they took in the 1st round a year ago, who's not playing great football for them right now. You just got to look at the series of events on the personnel decisions that John Gruden and Mike Mayock made from the beginning. When you go in and you're scouting college kids, you go and you talk to the high school coaches, the elementary teachers, the ex-girlfriends, the guy on the corner with the cart selling food that may have known the family forever. You go and do your due diligence.
So you're saying it's more character issues than talent, where they're missing in the draft?
Absolutely, because for one, you knew what Damon Arnett was at Ohio State.
Okay.
You ignored that. It said, oh, okay, there's some significant concerns. Significant. Not concerns, because we all got concerns when we get drafted. Everybody got a flag or 2. I don't give a damn if you Peyton Manning or Keyshawn Johnson and everybody in between. We all got something. But when you say significant concerns, like Mike Mayock said, that tells me that I have significant concerns with you being able to do your job. When you had a very talented person in Reggie McKenzie, who was there as a general manager prior to John Gruden coming, stayed 1 year with Coach Gruden, and then all of a sudden they fired him and brought in Mayock, somebody with no experience whatsoever. So at the end of the year, Mike Davis is supposed to just ride this wave for right now, and you've got to part ways and restructure that entire front office and organization with people that know what the hell they are doing.
I don't disagree with you. I come to the same conclusion that you come to, albeit for different reasons. Let me say this. Number one, I don't know if you've noticed that. She knows this, but I don't know if you noticed or not. Did you know that I should have been president of basketball operations? I mean, I should have been president of basketball operations, whether it's New York Knicks, Brooklyn, that's somebody. Because I didn't know that was the criteria that made my Mayock. You know,
you've been on TV for a while.
Exactly. I've been on TV for a while. You know, so you just covering the NFL and suddenly you a GM. I ain't never heard of that in my life, okay? So the fact that that man got the job, the first thing I did was raise my hand. Excuse me, can I get a call to be president of basketball operations for some NBA franchise? Because last time I checked, I didn't know that was all that you had to do to be qualified to do that. So that was my number one issue. Number two, it was a reminder that the rules are different for certain people, because ain't no black man getting a position like that with zero experience. Number three, here's where I jump off a little bit on this. I'll take you at your word, because I didn't know anything about Damon Arnett. There's some significant stuff in Ohio State.
Yes.
That's problematic. I will remind everybody, the silver and black Raider Nation, what they're most famous for. Just win, baby.
Yes.
Just win. Because from an historical perspective, when Al Davis was alive and running the franchise, got arrested, so that's all it was about. You know, your transgression, we overcome all of that. Just come here, baby, and focus on winning. That's all it was, okay? Times have changed. That's no longer tolerable. You can't have that kind of mentality. Ruggs. I will never hold another human being responsible for Ruggs' actions. Ever.
Understood.
This brother was in a car going 156 miles an hour. You could think of some of the most stupidest things done by some of the most stupidest people in the world and would never assume that somebody would be, not even on the highway. Not even on the highway.
People make bad decisions when they drink too much alcohol.
156 miles an hour. I can't hold Mayock, and I'm not saying you are, because I know you're not doing it.
No, but and I'm not, Stephen A. What I'm saying is a series of bad decisions of bringing in certain guys with certain character issues as a whole.
Okay.
Not just Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs was a good. He's a good dude. I kind of know him and know his family.
And I'm
everything.
not questioning whether he's a good dude or not.
I'm not necessarily putting him in that space as that. But when you bringing in Richie Incognito, you bringing that in. I could just keep going on and on and on and piling on to the situations. You getting rid of players like Amari Cooper for other guys. Like I can go to a point where you sit there and you go, damn, that really happened, Key? Like there are certain things that they've done. And I understand just win, baby. So when you are evaluating players and you're looking at character issues, where do they play at?
That's true.
Where the hell do they play at?
Vegas.
And somebody could say very easy, Molly, oh, you can get in trouble in New York and you can get in trouble in Carolina. Yes, you can. And I played in a lot of cities. But can you get in more trouble?
But there is a reason why there wasn't a football team or an NBA team in Vegas for a very long time. It's a different deal there, absolutely.
To piggyback and really to augment Keyshawn's point in this respect. Standards matter.
Yeah.
And resumes matter. And when I talk about resume, it's not just, Molly, about what you've accomplished. It's about what terrain you had to maneuver through to get to that point. Because if you were a guy that was really ingratiated with the NFL and you saw things materialize over the years and had to work your way up, then the chances of you making these kind of mistakes would be slim to none because you understand what comes with it. But when you're able to bypass and leapfrog over hurdles to an opportunity and you just end up being ascended there, then you don't have to be
You need the experience. So let's cut to the chase, all right? The coach is gone, so we're saying the GM needs to go too.
At the end of the year, they need to part ways with Mike Mayock. There's no question about it.
Okay.
What has he done?
All right. No, I'm just saying. I just want to make it clear. We discussed a lot of things, so that's the bottom line. What we're saying because there's character issues in who they're drafting.
They're attached at the hip. The only reason he's there is John Gruden. So in light of that reality, the bottom line is if John Gruden is gone, what purpose does he serve?
Like what is he there for?
I don't know. I worked with him at NFL Network. I liked him. Nice guy.
The 11th pick in the 2006 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select J.J. Redick from Duke University.
I never could have imagined that I would have played basketball for this long.
Redick for three for the tie.
Redick, can he get it off? He does for three.
The last 30 years of basketball have been beyond my wildest dreams.
One of the greatest shooters making his first take debut, J.J. Redick. So great to have you, and welcome to the ESPN family.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I will never get tired of watching that video. No matter how many times you guys show it, I love that video.
I was getting hyped kind of watching it. Yeah, they did a great job with the montage, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really happy to have you here at ESPN and with us on First Take.
One of the best people in the business. He's played in the NBA for many years, class, one of the great shooters. I still believe Philadelphia, if they had kept him and Jimmy Butler, probably would have won a championship. At least made it to the finals. I think that all the pieces were there. I think the biggest mistake was that they let both of them get away.
No, that's true. And it's so crazy, though. I don't like Duke basketball, whatever, but I like him.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing.
Have.
Like I rock with him, but I don't like the rest of the Dookies though. I like you though.
Well, I've transcended
love Grant Hill.
Yes.
I've transcended it.
Separating himself.
You know the ones I'm talking about.
That's right.
All right, let's do this. Ready to talk some hoops?
Let's do it.
Okay, the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic is facing possible suspension after being ejected for blindsiding the Heat's Markieff Morris. So Jokic retaliated to a Morris foul by blindsiding the Heat veteran, sending him to the floor in an aggressive altercation that soured the ending of a 113-96 Denver win. Emotions ran high afterward, with Jimmy Butler shouting toward the Nuggets and needing to be held back. Heat coach Eric Spoelstra called it dangerous and dirty and just absolutely uncalled for. Here's the MVP.
I thought it's just going to be like a take foul, and he kind of bumped me, and I was like, that was a little bit like I think it was a dirty play, and then I just needed to protect myself. I felt it bad, and I'm not supposed to react that way. First of all, to not get thrown out of the game, I cannot help my team win the game, which is the most important thing.
JJ, you are up first. What should the punishment be for Jokic?
I think he'll get 2 games. I think that's fair. This is a guy that's not had a history of violent acts in the NBA. Markieff Morris will probably get a game. I'm not condoning violence. I would never condone violence. I do condone pettiness, and the NBA is the king of petty. Markieff Morris had an easy chance to take a Euro foul, get subbed out of the game. The game's over. He gives a cheap shot. Jokic gives a cheap shot. There's some words. Miami Heat gather in the hallway after the game to confront the Nuggets and Jokic. This is what makes the NBA so special. It's pettiness. I love it, and I'm here for it.
You have to suspend Jokic. There's no doubt about that because he blindsided Markieff Morris. And the NBA obviously is going to frown upon something like that because of what it could have led to. Okay, so we got to get that out the way. We also need to get out the way the fact that I'm a fan of the Morrises. I really do. I think that you got guys like that need to be on every team. They're physical, but they can play. They know how to play the game and what have you. But these brothers do get physical, and Markieff Morris has some history of giving some shots. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad he's well. I wish him well. I certainly don't wish any harm to come to him. But we ain't going to act like he's some innocent dude up in all of this. Jokic was dribbling up the court, and literally with his arm up, Markieff Morris, goes up and under him and shoulders him in the right rib. Okay? That was it. I mean, look at the shot that preceded what Jokic did. He was provoked. And one of the things, and Keisha, I keep trying to, in all of my years of covering the NBA, I keep reminding folks of something. I had not one, not two, but several European players tell me this over the years. In America, you got cats walking around here, gun violence and stuff like that, gang, all this other stuff. He said they drop bombs where we from. Serbia, Slovenia, and a bunch of other places. These brothers ain't scared at all. And when you roll up on them the wrong way, they're going to retaliate. Jokic last night retaliated. Now, should he have done so while Morris had his back turned? No. I'll tell you this much. If he had retaliated while Morris was facing him, I'd have less of a problem with it because it wasn't initiated by him.
I get that.
So we got to be very, very clear.
I understand that.
That Jokic was actually innocent in all of this until he blindsided them. But he was provoked.
Keyshawn, get in here.
We got to make sure we remember to say that.
He was provoked to a degree because he could clearly see him coming, so he could brace himself. Unlike Markieff Morris could not see him when his back was turned. Anything could happen. Whiplash, it could have been spine, it could have been anything. Good thing that didn't happen. So to me, when you got that large of a human being, JJ, attacking somebody with that force coming when I'm not looking, I play football, so I already know what it feels like.
He lifted up his arms. He came under him. He hit him with a rip shot.
He lifted up his arms. He wasn't off the ground.
He came up,
but he wasn't off. That dude's 7 feet tall, man.
He's 7 feet 284 to be specific.
To be specific, so it takes a lot of force.
So what you hit him for? So what you do that to him for?
It takes a lot of force to move him. And on top of that, Stephen A., if right now, if I jump across this table and attack you, you see me, you can brace.
Right.
If you turn your back and walk away and I attack you, you cannot.
That's
what
true.
do you think is going to happen?
Keisha, but here's the thing. You're saying Jokic's hit on Morris was the only dangerous play. I'm agreeing with Stephen A here.
I don't think
that is a dangerous play. No, that's a dangerous play. You can crack a rib. You can send a guy into a back
spasm. He barely touched that dude under the armpit, man. See, now you can ready to make me.
Have you seen that in slow-mo? Have you seen that in slow? He barely touched him.
He gave him something. It was under the armpit.
We gonna pause this.
They're both dangerous plays. They're both dangerous plays.
They are both dangerous. You're right about that, JJ. It's all tongue in cheek. They both are dangerous. The difference to me is I see you coming. Okay. I can brace myself.
JJ?
Yeah.
I got him. You see, Keyshawn, you ain't going to get away with this.
Get away with what?
Listen.
I understand the history.
I heard your point. Let me get my point out.
But you get ready to try to tell me about history.
No. I'm not talking about history. No. I'm saying to you, the Morris twins.
Yes.
Listen, I got nothing but respect for the brother.
Okay.
But they are accustomed to being the bullies on the block.
You tell me something about history.
So what I'm saying to you is that you came at him. You instigated it, bro. If you know the dude is 6'11", 284, don't take no mess. Get shot ejected in the playoffs against Phoenix, by the way, for knocking somebody upside their head because they came at him wrong. Well, he was really frustrated because he was on the verge of getting swept. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, Jokic don't play. He was letting you know, I know your history. I know your reputation. You ain't doing that to me. Now, who? I mean, if there was ever a person that should not have a problem with that, it's you. Because nobody is coming at you wrong. And you're not going to sit up there and give somebody the license to try and dictate how you get to retaliate to something they instigated.
I understand
That's what he did.
If he faced him up, I wouldn't even be having this conversation with you. My whole part of the problem is he hit the man with the man back turn.
Right.
Okay? If you've ever been hit from the back in that with that force coming, you would know what I'm talking about. It does not. You could have done something to him. And he tried to get up. He tried to get up off the floor and could not, JJ.
And in the moment, he meant to do something to him because he didn't believe himself to be somebody that could defend himself. He felt he was defenseless when Morris.
All right, y'all. Agree to disagree. Can we move on? I need to give Steph Curry his flowers. Chef Curry with the shot. Steph Curry scored 50 points, added 10 assists in the Warriors' 127-113 win versus Trae Young in the Hawks' 10th career 50-point game after he went 14 of 28 from the field, 9 of 19 from deep, and 13 of 13 from the line. Curry has 4 50-point games at age 32 or older, second most in NBA history behind Michael Jordan, who has 5. Good company to be in. Golden State 9-1, first place in the West, and Klay Thompson not even back yet. Mr. Smith,
Yes.
I'm starting with you.
Yes.
Should the Warriors be the favorites to win it all?
Oh, hell yes. I said I came on the record. Let me state this loud and clear for everybody to see.
JJ smiling
If
at you. I don't
Klay
know.
Thompson and James Wiseman come back healthy, the Warriors are winning the championship. Ain't nobody beating them. I'm sitting across from a man that is a career 41.5% shooter from three-point range.
Buckets.
This brother is a marksman now. I'm talking to him. Steph Curry's the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my life. Klay Thompson is one of the top 5 shooters I've ever seen in my life. And I'm watching Jordan Poole. I'm watching Damon Lee. I'm watching Gary Payton Jr. I'm watching Toscano, okay? And then I'm looking at Steph Curry, who, by the way, let me take a moment to give love to the wonderful, great, phenomenal Candace Parker, who tweeted before the game, Steph Curry gonna drop 50 tonight. When you got a young cat, I'm paraphrasing here, she tweeted that when you got a young blood like Trae Young coming for you, you gotta remind them who you are. And that's what Steph Curry, because Trae Young was putting on a show himself in the first half last night. But Steph Curry just said, not yet, young fella. There's levels to this. And when I think about what I'm seeing, I see a lot of teams, but when I think about perimeter shooting ability, the versatility, the athleticism, the ability to play defense, and more importantly, I don't know why I gotta keep preaching this to people all the time. Free throws matter come playoff time. You gotta make free throws. And we know they ain't the Lakers. And so when I look at it, I'm telling you right now, I'm watching James Harden. He's struggling. Don't get me started with Kyrie. He ain't there. So Milwaukee, Giannis hit free throws in a game 6. Congratulations. All right, Miami is nothing to sneeze at. I get it. But these brothers here in Golden State, I can't see anybody beat.
JJ, why were you shaking your head at him?
It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to say that, to be honest with you.
Irresponsible.
No, listen.
Whatever.
Listen.
That's a good take.
Steph Curry is the greatest show on earth right now. I will say that. And to your point, he's the best shooter ever. I think Klay Thompson is the second best shooter ever. Here's the thing about the Warriors, though. First of all, it's 10 games into the season, so let's have some perspective here.
Okay.
All right, they've had the 8th easiest schedule so far. They've got 2 games left on this homestand. 9 of their first 12 games will be at home. They have no signature wins other than opening night against the Lakers. They've beaten OKC twice, Houston, New Orleans. The only time they've left the state of California is to go play Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City.
Well, you need to go visit San Francisco.
No, but listen,
because being in San Francisco this day and age is tough. But go ahead.
It is so early to say that they're the favorites. And the other thing about bringing back Klay or bringing back James Wiseman, Klay hasn't played basketball in 2.5 years. The last time Klay played basketball, Anti-vaxxers were a fringe movement. You know, COVID didn't exist, right? It's been a long time. We have no idea what Klay Thompson will look like. James Wiseman is 20 years old. He's played in 39 NBA games. If you're placing your trust in him to win a playoff series with him playing heavy minutes, I just don't know what to tell you.
I'm going to let Keyshawn go first, but I'm about to warn you, you're about to be initiated into television in a few minutes.
I love
Go ahead, Keyshawn.
First time you're a rookie in a long time, right?
I'm going to get you for that, but go ahead.
They've been hot, but like JJ said, this is the beginning of the season. How you going to all of a sudden just give them the mantle? We have no idea what Klay is. No idea. Remember, one of his strengths is his defensive side of the ball. His 2 leg injuries, an ACL and an Achilles. So when you take that away from him, now what is he? Just a spot-up shooter, which is deadly. Clearly, it puts points on the board. And yes, you are right, Stephen A. The Lakers don't make free throws. But I'd be damned if I sit here and allow you to just count them out. Just decide to say, oh, they don't mean anything. You just going to just pass over the Lakers just because you seeing magic being made in Golden State and San Francisco right now. I know AD, you can blow on him. He can fall apart, all that. I get it. You don't know what you're going to get out of Westbrook in the early stages. LeBron's hurt. Age is catching up to him. I understand all that. But you ain't going to do that.
Okay, first of all, a couple of things. I'll dismiss you because we know you're a homer. When it comes to the Lakers, you're a homer. It's all right.
And we're getting into the Lakers later on the show.
It's okay.
Don't you worry.
Let me get back to this brother right here. First of all, I never said the Warriors were the favorites. I said I'm picking them to win it all. I understand why they may not be everybody's favorites, but listen to the question. That's number one. Number two, predictions are a part of this business. It's not irresponsible at all. I'm giving the public what they want. They want to know how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel. That's what you're going to have to do every single day. So get used to being irresponsible because they're about to call you that if that's what irresponsible is. Number three, let's dissect and analyze what we're witnessing here. Miami's formidable. We got to see if they're going to pull it together. Who's going to be their closer? Who's going to be the guy they give it to and they say deliver us to the promised land? That's a question mark. The Greek Freak. Yeah, when DeAndre Ayton, with no help whatsoever on the interior, let's see what you do come postseason time again this year as opposed to the undersized Phoenix Suns last year. The Philadelphia 76ers don't get me started. I mean, we got Ben Simmons, that fiasco that's going on there. We understand all of that. The New York Knicks, I believe in them for a first-round series. I'm not getting lost in the shuffle. We don't know what's going to happen with Kyrie. We're looking at James Harden, wondering what the hell's going on. Now let's go out to the Western Conference. Each year we pick Utah. We believe in Donovan Mitchell. No one else really shows up when it counts for Utah. That is a fact. That has been the case. The Denver Nuggets, we know the Jokic is big time, but Jamal Murray, they're not the same without him. How's he going to be when he comes back from that nasty injury? That's a question. Kawhi Leonard, what's going to happen to him? That's a question mark right now. So when you scour the NBA, okay, the same thing you can say about Klay Thompson, I can say about anybody else. And when you bring up James Wiseman, here's my response to you.
All right.
They won the title with Jaja Pachulia and Andrew Bogut. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. I can't look at James Wiseman and say with the rest of the pieces there, with what they've developed over the last year and a half in Poole, Toscano, Damon Lee, and all of these brothers, that these dudes come with a Klay and Steph healthy, can't win the chip. What am I missing?
All right, JJ gets the final word.
First of all, I just want to, don't knock Zaza and Andrew Bogut. They were integral parts of those teams. Screening, passing, defense, rebound. Come on. It was a great fit. If you're talking about a more talented player on paper, James Wiseman, for sure.
Yes.
But those guys were great fits, and that's what the NBA is, Stephen. You know this. It's all about fit. I want to talk about two teams real quick.
Okay.
I want to talk about two teams real quick.
Okay.
Milwaukee won a championship last year.
That's true.
Okay. They played zero games with their starting lineup.
That's true.
They played one game with Chris, Drew, Giannis, and Brook. So we don't even know that we haven't seen them this year at full strength. Let's acknowledge they were the champs last year. They have a chance.
The champs.
We said for years, Milwaukee can't win it all. They're a regular season team. Now we're saying the same thing about Utah. Utah has to be be the favorites in the West.
Considering them all.
The Utah is the favorites in the West. That's what I'm saying. That's my prediction.
We have to go to break.
Utah's going to win the West. There's my prediction.
That's a respectable pick, but you can't dismiss Golden State.
I'm not dismissing them.
Excuse me, Mr. Like that Roll Tide. Chat. We want to thank all of our veterans for their service, each and every one of you. God bless. Our quick takes. The Bulls beat the Nets big time and are 7-3 on the season. Stephen A., are the Bulls or the Nets the bigger threat in the East?
Right now, it's the Bulls. I don't think it'll last, but I got to give the Bulls some love. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are really handling their business together. I like their depth, their activity. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing from the Bulls thus far. I just don't know if it'll last.
Wow, we are saying the Bulls are a bigger threat than the Nets. My goodness. JJ, you know a thing or two about shooting. What do you think of this shot by Karl Anthony Towns at the buzzer to send the game into OT? Is it lucky or is it good?
Can I say both?
No,
here's the thing. Hold on, here's the thing.
Double
Fine,
take, two take.
It's lucky. It's lucky.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Unless he called bank, which he didn't, it's luck. There's some skill here. He's going backwards. There's some lower body strength. Catches the ball. He keeps it in his pocket. But this is absolutely like this is not a shot he practices on a daily basis.
Made it look easy, though. It was nice. All right, now to the Lake Show guys who got the job done in overtime against the Hornets, but it was not pretty. Anthony Davis led the way with 32 points and still no LeBron, who was out again due to that ab strain. Frank Vogel, what do you think about this win?
Situations like tonight, while we're figuring each other out and learning each other, sometimes there's going to be some nights where you win ugly. And, it would have been nice to hold that lead and, win this one easy, but this league's tough. Every team that comes in here is a good team and giving us their best shot. And, sometimes you're going to have to win ugly, and we'll take it.
As I mentioned earlier, JJ Redick, you're with us. How does it feel to be a rookie for the first time in a long time? I'm just playing. You're doing a great job.
Seems a little odd.
No, I will get to you in a second. Stephen A., I'll start with you. LeBron's still out right now. How far can he take this Lakers team?
Right now, I would tell you the conference finals. I believe in LeBron James. I know that he's not what he used to be, but I think that's just a health situation. When LeBron James is on the court and healthy, clearly in a position where he's willing to preserve himself for the postseason now, more so than ever before, I think it's one of those situations where his basketball IQ, his ability to make and finish plays, his strength, his size, his girth, his basketball know-how, plus a perimeter shot that's not awful, it's decent. I think the combination of all of those things with Anthony Davis and the rest of the crew, with Carmelo playing the way that he's been playing thus far, even though I don't think that'll last, I still believe in Carmelo Anthony. In the end, I think it's going to take a sniper-like squad, like the Golden State Warriors, to take out the Los Angeles Lakers.
JJ, can I ask you a question? And Keyshawn, we'll get to you because I know you're going to be very defensive, all things LA in a moment. So, JJ, is it fair to say that father time is catching up to LeBron James?
To me, it's the first time in my life, and I've known LeBron since he was 15 years old, where LeBron looks human. He looks human. He had a core injury a couple seasons ago. Last season, he had an ankle injury. Comes out and says, "I don't know if I'll ever be 100% again after that." Then another core injury to start. The way he started this season honestly reminds me a little bit of like 2018 with the Cavs, where he kind of cruised through the regular season in order to sort of save himself for the playoffs. If we look at this Lakers roster, though, it's a clunky fit. It's a clunky fit with their big three. They need more shooting on the floor. Who knows if Melo's hot shooting is sustainable at this point? They definitely need at least two other great shooters.
Do you think bringing in Westbrook was the right move?
They gave up a lot for Westbrook, but some of that was fit. I don't think Kyle Kuzma was a great fit there. I don't think Montrezl Harrell was a great fit there. Those guys are playing great in Washington. They gave up a lot. What they didn't get back was any shooting, and that's what they need. They need more shooting.
Well, the one thing I would say before Keyshawn chimes in here is that is a reflection on Frank Vogel, who I like personally. But I will tell you this. You don't use Montrezl Harrell at all during the playoff series against the Phoenix Suns. You don't use him at all. Kyle Kuzma didn't necessarily develop under you. You know what? Looking at them and the way they're playing in Washington right now, in the nation's capital, if they keep this up and the Lakers continue to struggle, which I don't think will happen, on the Lakers side anyway, you're going to be looking at Frank Vogel and being like, what the hell's going on here?
6-5 ain't a struggle, I don't think, when you don't have LeBron James 10 games into the 11 games into the season, right? I know we talked about Westbrook. Yes, that is a problem in terms of shooting. But can Westbrook start the game, give him 7 minutes, come and be the second unit guy that does what he did a couple games ago, which is score at a high volume? I mean, we're not asking Carmelo Anthony to score 29 points a night. So if he can give us half of that, I think we would take that and be happy with it.
Oh, he'll
right?
give you half of that.
If you can get half of that, you can get half of that. I think you take that and you run to the hills with it. LeBron James, Father Time may be catching up slowly, but it's got a long ways to go, JJ.
I'm never going to discredit
I didn't say you were discrediting
LeBron.
He said human.
But he looks human. Yeah. He looks human.
Yeah, in the early stages. What about late in the year, second half of the season? all-star, if we was having this conversation and you said to me, he looks human, when they're getting ready to go into the into the playoffs, now I'm a little more worried. The biggest problem for me is can we keep AD healthy?
I've told y'all.
Can we keep AD healthy?
I've told y'all all year long. I said, look.
10 games in, by the way.
Well, I'm just talking about preseason. Once the minute the mental trade was made. I've said it. It's going to come down to Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
I know that with Anthony Davis, you're looking at health. With LeBron, you're looking at health. With Russell Westbrook, you're looking at how you play. Last night, had a triple-double. 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter. 5. And some of them were pivotal ones. You're going to look at him, and if you're the opposition, you're going to challenge him to make the right play at key pivotal moments. Now, with LeBron there, that's the ultimate cover because we all know how LeBron usually is going to make the right plays. But the bottom line is that you're going to look at them and you're going to find a way to put Russell Westbrook in a position where he's the one that has to come through for you in a pivotal moment. And the question is, can he do that in terms of his decision-making and his shot-making ability?
Well, I would think in the fourth quarter he would defer, obviously, to LeBron, especially like bringing the ball up the court, spacing it out. Because as you said, LeBron is not a deadly shooter, but he does shoot the ball pretty well now. So that's your guy. In terms of Westbrook doing what he's doing, Stephen A. and JJ, he's a second unit guy for me. Giving LeBron rest, he comes in there and he gives us that increase in scoring.
Sure, he loves being called a second union guy.
Hey,
okay, so JJ says LeBron looks human for the first time. The fit's a little clunky. You're a little concerned about Westbrook. You're a little concerned about AD's health. I will ask you, Mr. Laker, if you were a betting man, how far is your squad going?
Probably to the championship.
Yeah, probably.
I know they're going to be there in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I'm believing in LeBron and AD to stay healthy to get us over the hump.
What I would say is it should be who JJ mentioned. It should be Utah.
Okay.
I don't have faith in anyone in Utah outside of Donovan Mitchell. Somehow, some way, they just let me down. Angle and Gobert. They just let me down. Okay, they just let me down. And I'm just a believer in the Golden State Warriors. I'm just talking about that. I just think that when you can shoot that well,
all right,
you can take out anybody.
Yeah, 3 is always better.
I like the dub too. We got to go to break.
Yeah.
Great to have you. The Patriots quarterback Mac Jones looked good in the Patriots 24-6 win Sunday versus the Panthers, but there's one play in question that has people talking. After being hit hard by Brian Burns, Jones then held Burns' right ankle, causing him to twist his ankle. Jones said he wasn't trying to injure the Panthers' defensive end. Some of Burns' teammates think otherwise. Was that dirty?
That was absolutely dirty.
Man,
that
stop,
was absolutely dirty. Absolutely. You saw him grab the ankle and twist it. He didn't trip him. He grabbed the ankle. And was getting dragged and twisted the dude's ankle, Keyshawn.
That
was a twist.
Come on.
Okay?
The ankle is twisting because he's pulling away from him. You got to grab the dude's leg and slide down.
You got to be kidding me.
What you supposed to do? You supposed to sit there and let him go get the football? No, you grab his damn ankle.
Keyshawn.
What do you mean?
He twisted
There was a little twist at the end, though, Keyshawn. It wasn't just a pull. No,
there was no twist.
No, it was a pull and then it was a twist.
Man, I'm the last dude getting ready to defend the quarterback. He pulled his leg and slid down on his ankle.
Let's show that again in slow motion. Now watch this, Keyshawn. Let's watch it together. Look.
Man, that dude twisted himself over by being pulled.
Why?
He's not twisting it.
Oh, so he didn't when he went his body.
Wait.
Keyshawn's
After
ridiculous.
seeing it a second time, I was with you. After seeing it a second time, he did kind of jump. He did kind of roll on his own. Look at it one more time.
Mac Jones got enough strength to pull that dude and twist him around like that?
Right there, see?
First of all, I know the dude. Now watch Mac Jones' body. Watch.
Oh,
see that right there? See that?
Not only did he turn it, Key, he kicked him too. He kicked the other leg and knocked him out.
He's supposed to. What is he supposed to do? Allow him. He's supposed to just allow him to go jump on the football.
Keyshawn,
I'm not going to allow him to go jump on the football.
The brother sat up there and
It's not a dirty play.
It's a dirty play, Keyshawn. It's a dirty play.
They don't like Mac Jones because he's getting all that hype. I know what it is.
So
they want to say it's dirty.
So Mac Jones didn't commit nothing. He didn't do anything dirty.
He did his job.
But Markeith Morris, right?
I didn't say.
Oh, it's a lot of hypocrisy by you.
That's what I said.
Really?
Okay. No, I didn't say that. Okay. I just said that that's his job. If he does not go and grab him by the leg, and he goes and dives on that ball, picks it up, scoops 7, now what?
Okay, so we can agree. All right, I'll give you that. Yeah. Just give me that Jokic was provoked.
He was provoked.
All right. Okay.
But he didn't have to go.
But he didn't have to. He didn't have. But Mac Jones had to do that. But Jokic didn't have to do that, right? He didn't have to do that, right?
Now
the dude hit him with a shot in his ribs. Okay.
Man, stop. He flipped him up underneath the armpit.
Come on. Really? That's all he did. That's what he did. He just.
If it hurt that much, he wouldn't have been able to retaliate.
Oh, yes, he can.
Oh, you can't. If I got cracked ribs, I'm not running over there.
I'm just saying. I didn't say he cracked his rib.
But the way you and JJ made it sound as if he was so egregious when he assaulted, when he hit him, that it was like an assault.
Jokic went at him. Jokic went at him. He said, "Listen, excuse me, I don't play that. I'm from Slovenia." Do you understand?
Do you know anything about Slovenia?
Zero.
You just like saying
Zero.
it.
I do plan on making a trip to Croatia, though. I do plan on making a trip to Croatia.
Because Croatia, that's like the party scene and all that.
I hear beautiful things about Croatia. I might have to take a trip there. I might have to take a trip there.
You probably get on your 500-foot yacht or something.
I ain't got no 500-foot yacht.
250.
I don't have a yacht at all.
We know you like the Mediterranean.
It has been nice.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Oh, good times with these two lovelies. That's all I got to say. Do you have any final words for the American people?
I don't believe you, man.
He didn't do that.
Come on, man.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll do it again.